Capture and interrogation. The vastness of space stretched out before Dr. Aria Vance as she peered through the viewscreen of her research vessel, the Curiosity. Stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across black velvet, their beauty belying the dangerous mission that lay ahead. Aria's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and trepidation as she guided her ship towards the mysterious nebula that had captivated Earth's scientific community for months. Approaching the outer edges of the Cerulean Veil Nebula, Aria announced, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Initiating long-range scans. As the Curiosity's sensors probed the swirling gases of the nebula, Aria's mind wandered to the events that had led her here. Earth's first contact with alien life had occurred just 3 years ago, and since then, humanity had been scrambling to catch up technologically. As one of the world's leading xenobiologists, Aria had been at the forefront of this new frontier, studying the biology of alien species and ecosystems. The nebula before her represented a unique opportunity. Initial scans had detected organic compounds unlike anything ever seen before. If Aria could collect samples and analyze them, it could revolutionize their understanding of life in the universe. A series of sharp beeps jolted Aria from her reverie. She frowned as she studied the readouts on her console. "That's odd," she muttered, fingers flying across the controls. "There's some kind of energy signature coming from within the nebula. It doesn't match any known natural phenomena." Before Aria could investigate further, a blinding flash of light erupted from the heart of the nebula. The Curiosity shuddered violently, alarms blaring as systems began to fail. "Mayday, Mayday!" Aria shouted into her comm unit. "This is Dr. Aria Vance of the Earth vessel Curiosity. I'm under attack by unknown forces at the edge of the Cerulean Veil Nebula, requesting immediate assistance." Her distress call was cut short as a massive shadow fell over her ship. Aria's blood ran cold as she gazed up at the alien vessel that had materialized seemingly out of nowhere. It was unlike anything humanity had encountered before, a behemoth of gleaming metal and pulsing energy fields that dwarfed her tiny research craft. A beam of crackling energy lanced out from the alien ship, enveloping the Curiosity in a web of purple lightning. Aria felt a strange tingling sensation wash over her body, and then everything went black. When Aria regained consciousness, she found herself in a dimly lit chamber that reeked of ozone and something alien. She was strapped to a cold metal table, unable to move. Panic threatened to overwhelm her, but years of scientific training kicked in, forcing her to observe and analyze her surroundings. The room was filled with strange, organic-looking technology. Tendrils of light pulsed along the walls, and unfamiliar symbols flickered on holographic displays. As Aria's eyes adjusted to the gloom, she realized she wasn't alone. Looming over her was a tall, imposing figure. Its body was covered in iridescent scales, and multiple arms extended from its torso, each ending in wickedly sharp claws. But it was the creature's face that truly chilled Aria to the bone. A mass of writhing tentacles surrounded 3 glowing eyes that regarded her with cold intelligence. "Human." The alien's voice reverberated in Aria's mind, bypassing her ears entirely. "You have trespassed in Xeraxian space. Your primitive vessel has been confiscated, and you will be interrogated for information about your species." Aria struggled against her restraints, her scientific curiosity warring with primal fear. "Who are you?" she managed to croak, her throat dry. "What do you want from us?" The alien's eyes pulsed with an eerie light. "I am Vorthax, Inquisitor of the Xeraxian Empire. Your kind has drawn our attention with your clumsy attempts at space exploration. We seek to understand the threat you may pose to our dominion." "Threat?" Aria's mind raced. "We're peaceful explorers. We mean you no harm." Vorthax's tentacles writhed in what might have been amusement. "All species claim peace until they have the means for conquest. We will not make the mistake of underestimating you, as we did with the Arcturians." Before Aria could protest further, Vorthax reached out with one of its arms, grasping a device that looked unsettlingly like a fusion of organic and mechanical components. This will allow us to extract the information we need directly from your mind, the alien explained dispassionately. I advise you not to resist. The process can be unpleasant. As the device descended towards her head, Aria summoned all her courage. She was a scientist, trained to observe and analyze, even in the face of the unknown. She would endure whatever came next, gathering information that could be crucial for Earth's survival. The moment the device made contact with her skin, Aria's world exploded into agony. It felt as though every neuron in her brain was on fire, memories and knowledge ripped from her mind like pages torn from a book. She saw flashes of her life. Childhood summers spent stargazing, years of grueling study and research, the joy of scientific discovery, all laid bare before the alien inquisitor. Through the haze of pain, Aria realized with horror that the device wasn't just extracting information, it was sifting through her knowledge of Earth's defenses, technological capabilities, and potential weaknesses. She tried desperately to focus on irrelevant details, to bury the critical information beneath a flood of trivial facts and personal memories. How long the torture lasted, Aria couldn't say. It could have been hours or days. When Vorthax finally removed the device, she lay gasping and trembling on the cold metal table. Impressive, the alien mused, its mental voice tinged with what might have been respect. Your mind is more resilient than we anticipated. But it matters not. We have gleaned enough to determine that your species, while primitive, has potential that cannot be ignored. Aria struggled to form coherent thoughts through the lingering pain. What? What are you going to do? Vorthax's eyes pulsed ominously. The Xeraxian Empire does not tolerate potential rivals. Your world will be cleansed, your technology absorbed, and your people repurposed. Terror gripped Aria's heart as the full implications of the alien's words sank in. Earth was in danger, and she was powerless to warn them. As Vorthax turned to leave, Aria made a silent vow. Somehow, some way, she would find a means to escape and alert her people to the coming storm. As the chamber door hissed shut behind the alien inquisitor, Aria closed her eyes and focused on steadying her breathing. She was battered, both physically and mentally, but not broken. Her analytical mind was already racing, searching for weaknesses to exploit, opportunities to seize. The fate of humanity now rested on her shoulders, and Dr. Aria Vance was determined not to let her species down. As she drifted into an exhausted sleep, one thought echoed through her mind. The Xeraxians had made a grave mistake in choosing her as their captive. They would soon learn the folly of underestimating human resilience and ingenuity. Unexpected allies. Aria's world had shrunk to the confines of her cell, a sterile hexagonal chamber with pulsating walls that seemed almost alive. Days blurred together, punctuated only by grueling interrogation sessions with Vorthax and his underlings. Despite the relentless assault on her mind and body, Aria clung to hope, knowing that each moment she resisted was another moment Earth remained unaware of the looming Xeraxian threat. During one of her rare periods of lucidity, Aria noticed something odd about her cell. A small panel near the floor flickered erratically, its rhythmic pulsing out of sync with the rest of the room. Her scientific mind, dulled by pain and exhaustion, slowly whirred to life. Could this be a weakness in their seemingly impenetrable technology? Before she could investigate further, the cell door hissed open. Aria steeled herself for another brutal interrogation, but instead of Vorthax's imposing figure, a smaller Xeraxian entered. This one's scales shimmered with a bluish tint, and its movements seemed almost hesitant. Human. The alien's voice echoed in her mind, softer than Vorthax's harsh tones. I am Zilvax, assistant to the ship's biomechanical engineer. I've been sent to assess your physical condition. Aria watched warily as Zilvax approached, a strange device in one of its hands. To her surprise, when the alien activated it, she felt a soothing warmth spread through her battered body. The constant ache that had become her companion began to subside. Why are you helping me? Aria asked, her voice hoarse from disuse. Zilvax's eyes pulsed with an emotion Area couldn't quite decipher. Not all Ziraxians agree with the Empire's methods. The alien responded cautiously. Some of us believe there may be alternatives to conquest. A spark of hope ignited in Area's chest. Could this be the opportunity she'd been waiting for? She decided to take a risk. Zilvax, I'm a scientist, like you. My people don't want war. We seek knowledge, understanding. Surely there's a way for our species to coexist. The alien's tentacles writhed in what Area was beginning to recognize as agitation. It's not that simple. The Empire's drive for expansion is deeply ingrained in our society. But Zilvax hesitated, then continued in a quieter mental voice. There are whispers of a resistance movement, those who believe our current path will lead to our own destruction. Area's mind raced with the implications. You're part of this resistance, she asked. Zilvax's eyes darted nervously to the cell door. Not officially. But I've been watching you, human. Your resilience, your adaptability. It's unlike anything we've encountered. It's made me question much of what we've been taught. A plan began to form in Area's mind. Zilvax, I need your help. Earth is in danger, and I'm the only one who can warn them. If you truly believe in alternatives to conquest, help me escape. The alien recoiled slightly. Escape? It's impossible. The security systems are not infallible, Area interrupted, gesturing to the malfunctioning panel. Your technology, as advanced as it is, has flaws. Together, we might find a way to exploit them. Zilvax was silent for a long moment, its eyes pulsing rapidly as it considered Area's words. Finally, it spoke. What you suggest is treason of the highest order, if we're caught. If we do nothing, billions will die, Area countered. Including your own people, eventually. You said it yourself. This path leads to destruction. The alien's tentacles writhed in what Area hoped was agreement. Very well, human. I will help you. But we must be cautious. I'll need time to gather information, to find weaknesses in our systems. Over the next several days, Zilvax visited Area's cell, under the guise of monitoring her health. In hushed mental whispers, they pieced together a daring escape plan. Zilvax provided crucial information about the ship's layout and security protocols, while Area's quick mind found ingenious ways to circumvent them. During one of these clandestine meetings, Zilvax dropped a bombshell that changed everything. I've discovered why the Empire is so intent on conquering Earth, the alien said, its mental voice trembling with emotion. It's not just about eliminating a potential rival. They found something in your solar system, an artifact of immense power left behind by an ancient race we call the Precursors. Area's eyes widened. What kind of artifact? A device capable of manipulating the very fabric of space-time, Zilvax explained. With it, the Empire could expand its reach across the entire galaxy in the blink of an eye. But the artifact is protected, hidden somewhere in your solar system. The invasion of Earth is just the first step in acquiring it. The implications were staggering. Earth wasn't just facing subjugation. It was an obstacle to be removed in the Ziraxians' quest for ultimate power. The need to escape and warn her people became even more urgent. As they finalized their escape plan, Area couldn't help but marvel at the unlikely alliance she'd formed with Zilvax. Here, billions of light years from home, she'd found common ground with a being from another world. It gave her hope that, should Earth survive the coming storm, there might be a chance for true interstellar cooperation in the future. The day of the escape arrived with a palpable tension in the air. Zilvax had managed to sabotage key security systems, creating a narrow window of opportunity. As the alien entered Area's cell for what would be the last time, both knew that failure meant certain death. Are you ready, human? Zilvax asked, its mental voice tinged with anxiety. Area nodded, her jaw set with determination. Let's do this. Zilvax deactivated Area's restraints and helped her to her feet. Months of captivity had left her weak, but adrenaline and the urgency of their mission gave her strength. They slipped out of the cell and into the twisting corridors of the Zyraxian ship. Navigating the alien vessel was like moving through a living organism. Walls pulsed with bioluminescent light, and strange organic technology lined every surface. Aria fought to keep her scientific curiosity in check, focusing instead on the escape route Zilvax had meticulously planned. They encountered their first obstacle at a security checkpoint. A hulking Zyraxian guard blocked their path, its multiple eyes scanning for any sign of trouble. Zilvax stepped forward, projecting an air of authority. "The human prisoner is being transferred for advanced interrogation," the alien stated firmly, "by order of Inquisitor Vorthax." The guard's eyes pulsed suspiciously. "I've received no such order." For a heart-stopping moment, Aria thought their plan had failed before it had truly begun. Then Zilvax made a series of complex gestures with its tentacles, some kind of security override, Aria realized. The guard's posture immediately relaxed. "Of course," it said, stepping aside. "Proceed." As they hurried past, Aria whispered, "Quick thinking." "What was that?" "A neural override sequence," Zilvax explained. "It won't fool higher-ranking officers, but it should get us past most security checkpoints." They pressed on, weaving through the labyrinthine corridors of the ship. Aria's legs burned with the effort, months of inactivity taking their toll. But the thought of Earth's fate drove her forward. As they neared the shuttle bay, alarms suddenly blared throughout the ship. A booming voice, "Vorthax," echoed through the corridors. "Alert! The human prisoner has escaped. All personnel to battle stations. Capture the fugitive alive." "They've discovered your absence sooner than we anticipated," Zilvax said, its mental voice tight with fear. "We must hurry." They broke into a run, abandoning all pretense of stealth. Ahead, Aria could see the entrance to the shuttle bay and their ticket to freedom. But between them and their goal stood a squad of heavily armed Zyraxian soldiers. "Halt!" the lead soldier commanded, raising a weapon that crackled with energy. Zilvax pushed Aria behind a bulkhead, shielding her with its body. "Stay back," the alien shouted to its compatriots. "The human is my prisoner. I'm returning it to the cell." The soldiers hesitated, confused by the conflicting orders. In that moment of uncertainty, Zilvax made its move. From within its robes, it produced a small, spherical device. Before Aria could react, Zilvax hurled the object at the soldiers. A blinding flash of light erupted, accompanied by a deafening screech that made Aria's teeth vibrate. When her vision cleared, she saw the Zyraxian soldiers writhing on the ground, clearly incapacitated. "Neural disruptor," Zilvax explained quickly. "Overload Zyraxian sensory organs. Hurry, the effect won't last long." They sprinted past the downed soldiers and into the shuttle bay. Rows of sleek, organic-looking craft lined the walls. Zilvax led Aria to the nearest one, its tentacles flying over the control panel. As the shuttle's hatch opened, heavy footsteps echoed behind them. Aria turned to see Vorthax himself striding into the bay, flanked by a phalanx of elite guards. The Inquisitor's eyes blazed with fury. "Traitor!" Vorthax's mental voice boomed, nearly bringing Aria to her knees with its intensity. "You dare betray the Empire." Zilvax pushed Aria into the shuttle. "Go," the alien shouted. "I'll hold them off." "But," Aria began to protest, "there's no time. The coordinates for Earth are already programmed into the nav system. You must warn your people." With a heavy heart, Aria sealed the shuttle's hatch. Through the viewport, she watched as Zilvax faced off against Vorthax and his guards. The brave alien who had risked everything to help her was quickly overwhelmed, disappearing under a pile of Zyraxian soldiers. Aria's hands flew over the shuttle's controls, grateful for the hours Zilvax had spent teaching her the basics of Zyraxian technology. The craft hummed to life, lifting off the deck as energy blasts from the guards' weapons splashed harmlessly against its hull. With a final, silent thanks to her unlikely ally, Aria gunned the engines. The shuttle shot out of the bay and into the vastness of space. Behind her, the massive Ziraxian mothership grew smaller, until it was just another pinprick of light among the stars. As the shuttle's faster-than-light drive engaged, propelling her towards Earth at unimaginable speeds, Aria allowed herself a moment of grief for Zilvax. The alien sacrifice had given her a chance, not just to save Earth, but to forge a different future for both their species. Certainly, I'll continue with part 3 of the story, The Great Escape. Here's the next 2,000-word segment. Part 3. The Great Escape. The vastness of space stretched before Aria as she piloted the stolen Ziraxian shuttle towards Earth. The initial euphoria of escape had faded, replaced by a gnawing anxiety. She was racing against time, carrying vital information that could mean the difference between Earth's survival and its annihilation. Aria's hands danced over the alien controls, her mind struggling to recall everything Zilvax had taught her about Ziraxian technology. The ship responded to her touch with an almost organic fluidity, as if it were an extension of her own body. Despite the circumstances, she couldn't help but marvel at its sophistication. A sudden alarm blared through the cockpit, jolting Aria from her thoughts. Red symbols flashed across the holographic display, their meaning clear even in an alien language. She was being pursued. Of course, Aria muttered to herself. They wouldn't let their precious technology fall into enemy hands so easily. Through the rear view screen, she saw 3 Ziraxian interceptors rapidly gaining on her. Their sleek, predatory shapes sent a chill down her spine. Aria knew the shuttle she'd stolen wasn't designed for combat. Her only hope was to outmaneuver them. Drawing upon every scrap of knowledge she gleaned during her captivity, Aria pushed the shuttle to its limits. She weaved through asteroid fields, skimmed the coronas of stars, and executed maneuvers that would have been impossible in any human craft. The pursuing Ziraxians matched her move for move, slowly closing the gap. As energy blasts from the interceptors sizzled past her hull, Aria realized she needed a new strategy. Her eyes fell on the nav computer, an idea forming. With a few quick inputs, she plotted a course directly into the heart of a nearby nebula, the same cerulean veil where she'd first been captured. The nebula loomed ahead, a swirling mass of gas and cosmic dust. Aria held her breath as she plunged into its depths, the view outside instantly obscured by a kaleidoscope of blues and purples. The shuttle's sensors struggled to penetrate the dense cosmic fog, but Aria pressed on, relying more on instinct than instruments. Behind her, the Ziraxian pursuers hesitated at the nebula's edge. Their more advanced sensors were equally confounded by the electromagnetic interference. After a moment's pause, they'd followed her in, unwilling to let their quarry escape. Aria smiled grimly. She'd been counting on their persistence. As she navigated the treacherous currents of the nebula, a plan took shape in her mind. It was risky, borderline suicidal, but it was her only chance. Deeper and deeper she flew into the cerulean veil, the pressure on the shuttle's hull increasing with each passing moment. Warning lights flashed across her console, but Aria ignored them, her eyes fixed on a specific reading, the energy signature she'd detected just before her capture, months ago. There, a flicker of something massive on her sensors, hidden within the heart of the nebula. Aria adjusted her course, heading straight for it. The Ziraxian interceptors, still in pursuit, didn't seem to notice the anomaly. As Aria drew closer, the true nature of the energy signature revealed itself. It was a cosmic string, an impossibly thin, incredibly dense remnant from the birth of the universe. Its gravity was so intense that it warped space-time around it, creating unpredictable eddies and currents in the fabric of reality. Aria's heart raced as she approached the cosmic string. What she was about to attempt went against every instinct of self-preservation, but she knew that if she succeeded, it would give her the edge she needed to escape. With a deep breath, Aria cut power to the shuttle's engines. For a terrifying moment, she was in free fall, the cosmic string's gravity pulling her inexorably towards it. Then, at the last possible second, she fired the engines at full power, using the string's gravitational pull to slingshot herself around it at incredible speed. The maneuver subjected Area to G-forces that threatened to tear her apart. Her vision narrowed to a pinpoint, her consciousness hanging by a thread. But the gambit worked. As she emerged from the other side of the cosmic string, her sensors showed the Zaraxian interceptor still caught in its gravitational web, struggling to break free. As Area stumbled out of the wreckage, she found herself in a landscape both familiar and utterly alien. The sky was a pale lavender, 2 moons visible even in the daytime. The air was thick and humid, carrying scents she couldn't begin to identify. In the distance, she could see structures that looked too regular to be natural formations. Out of the frying pan, Area muttered to herself and into the fire. She had escaped the Zaraxians, only to find herself stranded on an unknown world, with no way to contact Earth or warn them of the coming invasion. But as she surveyed her surroundings, Area's scientific curiosity began to overcome her despair. This planet, wherever it was, showed clear signs of intelligent life. Perhaps, she thought, she might find allies here, or at least the means to continue her journey home. With no other choice, Area gathered what supplies she could salvage from the shuttle and set out towards the distant structures. Each step was a struggle in the planet's higher gravity, but she pressed on, driven by the urgency of her mission and the thrill of discovery. As Area crested a hill, she got her first clear view of the alien city. It was a marvel of organic architecture, buildings flowing into one another like living things. Hovering vehicles moved through the air in complex patterns, and beings of all shapes and sizes bustled about on the ground. Area's heart leaped. This wasn't just an inhabited world, it was a hub of interstellar activity. She could see creatures that were clearly from different species interacting peacefully, trading goods and information. It was everything humanity had dreamed of finding in the cosmos. But before Area could figure out how to approach this alien metropolis, a shadow fell over her. She looked up to see a sleek craft descending rapidly, emblazoned with unfamiliar symbols. As it landed, a hatch opened, and 3 beings emerged. They were unlike anything Area had ever seen, vaguely humanoid, but with translucent skin that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Their eyes were multifaceted, like those of insects, and they moved with an uncanny grace in the heavy gravity. One of the beings stepped forward, raising a device that emitted a soft hum. When it spoke, Area was astonished to hear its words translated into perfect English. "Greetings, traveler," the alien said, its voice melodious and gender-neutral. "I am Xanthar, peacekeeper of Harmony Station. We detected your crash and came to offer assistance." Area's scientific mind reeled at the implications of the translator technology, but she forced herself to focus on the immediate situation. "Thank you," she said, her voice hoarse. "I'm Dr. Area Vance of Earth. I've escaped from the Zaraxian Empire, and I carry urgent news about a threat to my homeworld." Xanthar's bioluminescent patterns flickered rapidly, a sign of surprise or alarm, Area guessed. "The Zaraxians," the alien said, its tone grave. "We know of them. Their expansion has been a topic of much concern in the Galactic Council." Hope surged through Area. Galactic Council. Then there are others who oppose the Zaraxians. Xanthar nodded, a surprisingly human gesture. Many species have banded together to maintain peace and balance in the galaxy. The Zaraxians' aggressive expansion threatens that balance. But come, you are injured and exhausted. We will take you to Harmony Station, where you can receive treatment and tell us your story. As Area boarded the Peacekeeper's craft, her mind was awhirl with new possibilities. She had stumbled upon something far greater than she could have imagined. A coalition of alien species that might have the power to stop the Zaraxian threat. The journey to Harmony Station was brief but awe-inspiring. As they approached, Area saw that what she had taken for a city was actually a massive space station, its organic architecture extending into space itself. Ships of all sizes and designs swarmed around it, a testament to the diversity of life in the galaxy. Inside, Harmony Station was a riot of colors, sounds, and smells from 100 different worlds. Aria's eyes darted from one incredible sight to another as Xanthar led her through bustling corridors to a medical bay. There, beings that seemed to be made of pure energy tended to her injuries with technology that bordered on magical. As Aria's body healed, she told her story to Xanthar and a group of aliens that the Peacekeeper introduced as representatives of the Galactic Council. She spoke of Earth's fledgling steps into space, her capture by the Xeraxians, and the vital information she had learned about their plans.